Welcome to the Call to Harmony, where we explore the inner journey to oneness with self, others, and the divine. Hello, everyone. We are glad to have another week to talk together and to have you guys listen, if you're listening.
I'm pretty sure they are. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, someone might be. We are going to be talking about something that I think everyone can relate to in some way or another. Just about how sometimes we hit these certain places in life, these experiences, and we feel like we are going to be there forever. It's almost like a part of ourselves or something that used to exist in our life has died. There's a death, right? And it almost feels like we might be in that state forever. I think sometimes talking about these spiritual journeys can sometimes feel like, when we're in dissonance or feeling like we will always be confused. I think that's what I think a lot of the time, that I'll always be confused, that I'm not going to have something I used to have ever again. It can be a really hard place to be. And I think it's important to experience that and to mourn that, but also that that's actually not a permanent state. So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about some of that stuff today.
Yeah. Thanks, Savannah. I was having a conversation with somebody this week, somebody that's brilliant, that's going through faith deconstruction, that's been trying to create a safe space for other people that are in the faith deconstruction space because it can feel so lonely and isolating. And so he came to talk to me about this and ask about experiences holding retreats and stuff for people in faith deconstruction. And his way of talking about it was, this is a faith deconstruction group, and we're here to support each other. And super beautiful thing that he's doing. And he had some nervousness around it because he was like, well, what if it turns really negative and it's just all about people attacking, things that they used to hold dear as far as their faith. And so we talked through different things, and I was just trying to be there because this is one of the things that we learn, that when we're in spaces of deconstruction, there's probably a part of us that wants to fix it for the other person, right? That is like, oh, no. Well, don't worry, it's going to be fine. And you're going to get through this, and then everything's going to be roses, right? But when we're in the middle of those places, that actually probably isn't the thing to do.
No.
Oh, why not, Savannah? Why do you feel like jumping into that fix-it mode when somebody is experiencing deconstruction or a death of some kind in their life isn't the way to go, even though we feel instincts to go there sometimes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think anyone can think of a time where you are expressing a difficulty to someone else, and to have someone, with good intention come in and say, yeah, it's going to be okay. It'll just give it time, Man, those are the worst words I've ever heard in my life when I'm experiencing something hard. And yeah, I still say that to people, right, who are going through
Right.
hard times. And I'm like, it sucks, but time, it'll be okay. We just want so bad to offer some hope, to offer some sort of this isn't going to be forever. But when you are in that place, it feels like forever. So you either feel like people are lying to you by saying oh, it will get better, or you just feel like they're not sitting with you in your pain and almost dismissing it in a way, even though the intention might not be to dismiss. But I think that's typically how I've felt. And so I think it's really important to sit in the discomfort, even though it sucks and it's so hard. And as an outsider trying to, support someone who's, in deconstruction or having some sort of difficulty, right? All you want to do is pull them out of that. But I think the healthy way to heal and to get through it is to sit in it and allow it to exist. And then, yes, time will do its thing, but you don't need to tell them that because it
Right.
will just work its way.
Right.
But yeah.
And yet, as you were talking, I was just having people flash before my eyes that I've done that with, and said,
Yeah.
oh, it's going to be okay. And even even somebody that we both know that's a friend of yours that came looking for comfort and was describing their experience lately and feeling like, I think the way that she said it was, I feel like I've been wearing this sweater, like my beliefs were a sweater, and that the sweater's just been unraveling.
Mm.
It's just been coming apart. And and she was like, and I just want to just pause and just enjoy this as much of the sweater as I've got left and not let it
Yeah.
keep unraveling.
Mm.
And I just thought that was such a beautiful way to describe it. That resonates with me. That unraveling is so difficult. And there was a part of me that wanted to jump so quickly to it and be like, well, what if, and I did say this. Here's a confession, but at the same time, I don't know that the timing is right to say it. Maybe it was. Because there are times when you can feel in the moment, um, oh, here is something to say, and it does help and it does comfort.
Mhm.
But those times when it seems to resonate aren't growing out of my own discomfort. My comments aren't coming from me trying to make myself and them comfortable,
Mm.
but it's arising out of presence.
Mm.
And being able to sense the difference between those two takes presence itself, right?
Yeah, I was like, "How do you even do that?"
Yeah. What is needed in this moment? Maybe slowing down and just asking that question, what is needed in this moment? And letting your wise mind, letting God, letting the divine, letting the higher power speak to that, rather than letting our discomfort
Mm.
dictate what we do in the situation. Which
Yeah.
is, as I look back, the times when I let discomfort speak, I regret. But at the times when there was something speaking through presence, something greater, then those are times when it felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So back to this story, I realize I've started 2 stories and finished none so far.
Back to
We'll
the
do this
sweater.
we'll go back to the sweater, and then we'll go back to the one before that. But,
Mm.
man, so the sweater story, she was like, "Well, I just feel like something's unraveling." And I said, "Well, what if this is a cocoon that you're emerging from?"
Mm.
And rather than it's a sweater that you're losing, so you're going to be exposed and cold and, suffering, maybe you're emerging from a cocoon.
Mm.
And I could even see it as she was talking that she was mourning something, but there was a light that was coming through, that was shining through the mourning. And it seemed like that hit, that resonated, that landed.
Mhm.
Not because I was brilliant, but just because in the moment it felt like it. It was the it was the thing that just came through. Um, and I wonder if that resonates with people that are listening here. There are times in our lives when we're experiencing what feels like death. And
Mm.
in my understanding, when a caterpillar forms a chrysalis, and I think the chrysalis becomes a cocoon. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but I wonder if the caterpillar just feels like this is death. This is where I'm going to my grave, and I'm
Mm.
just going to hide inside of this. And from my understanding, the caterpillar actually becomes like soup.
Yeah.
Like it just disintegrates and dissolves into something.
Mhm.
And if I can get into that little caterpillar's brain, it's probably like,
What's
"Yep,
I'm done.
I am done. There is nothing solid here anymore to
Mm.
hold on to, and this is how it all ends." And the caterpillar can't see that what's coming after this is more beautiful than they could ever imagine, that they're gonna have abilities, they're gonna be able to fly. They're
Mhm.
going to be admired by all of creation. I don't think there's anybody that's like, "I hate butterflies. They're the worst." But even in that cocoon space where the cocoon feels like a grave,
Mm,
um, there's there's something happening deep inside us when we're experiencing that death that is making way for life that is is impossible to understand in the moment. And people might be saying, "It's gonna be okay, it'll get better." And it just feels like you sink deeper into the soup, into
mm,
the nothingness, you dissolve more. And yet, that is the promise of deconstruction. I'll go back to the first story that I also didn't finish of this friend that was talking about this group. And um, he said, "So, Tucker, what are you doing these days? What gives you purpose in life? What gives you hope?" And I said, "Oh, like I feel great purpose and great hope in my life. I meditate and I feel just full of peace and and I didn't have a great answer to this next question that he asked. Yeah, but so you're working on transforming, but what are you transforming into?"
hmm,
And I was like, "Oh man, what a great question." I don't and I didn't have a good answer for him at the time. I didn't know how to put it into words.
yeah.
But the next morning, I was meditating, doing my practice again, and I just felt this flow of love and peace and connection to what I call God these days,
Mhm,
the divine. And his question came back to me when I was deep in that meditation. "What are you transforming into?" And I was like, it's this. Like, I want to dissolve into love,
mm,
and it's not happening quickly for me. It's little by little by little. Um, but this is the hope of deconstruction, is that there's something on the other side that is way more beautiful than what I experienced before. The caterpillar to the butterfly, that's the hope. And I'm not a butterfly. I can feel that very keenly. There's so much left to dissolve, and there's so much more reconstruction to engage in. But I do feel that great hope in that promise.
mhm,
And so I want to throw that out there to people that are listening to this, that there is hope in deconstruction. But I don't wanna throw it out in a way to be like, minimizing the pain of the death, minimizing the difficulty of dissolving into soup
mm.
and losing ourselves, losing our lives, as Jesus would say, that we could find it. So, Savannah, as we talk about this, what comes up for you? What is hopeful in this
Hmm.
story of deconstruction and reconstruction of death and life, of the caterpillar and the butterfly?
Yeah. I think that it's nice to think like, "Oh, I have a few feelings. It feels nice. It's like, "Oh, yeah, there is something better," you know? But then it's like, "Oh, I have" like, the transformation is not just, "Okay, I'm now soup and I'll just wait to be the butterfly," you know? Like, "Oh, I actually need to do" there's a lot of work. There's a lot of practicing harmony. There's a lot of, yeah, just mindfulness and awareness and intention and these things that, again, with the structure that I had with religion and with church, just kind of provided me all of these things that I felt like were keeping me a butterfly, thinking I was already a butterfly, right? And just like, "Oh, no, it's great, and I have all of the things that I need." And now that I'm experiencing this cocoon, this, like, grave, um, the structure and support is no longer what it once was, and so there's also maybe a little bit of, like, "Oh gosh, like,
Mhm.
how do I become a butterfly? Okay, people are telling me this isn't my grave, but there's potential I could be this soupy goop for who knows how long, you know?" So, I don't know, I think it feels hopeful and like, "Oh, no, I can become like what you were describing." Like, I want to become that, like, this, like, love, connection, all of those things that I've felt brief moments of, um, but to get there, I realize is gonna take a lot of work and time and intention, and I think that's just kind of like, "Whoa, okay, it's overwhelming and hard," and I also don't know how to do that, though. Even though I want to, I'm not just copying out because it feels hard. It's like, "Oh, it's hard," but I also am like, "How the heck do I do that?" You know?
Mm. It's so
Not to
good, Savannah.
destroy the message of hope.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, no.
it's hopeful, but also, what? How do you do
Yeah.
that? So,
Yeah. Savannah, that's so real. Well, can I ask you a question?
yes.
Does a caterpillar know how to transform into a butterfly?
I don't know. I mean, I guess. Well, does it know or does it just happen to it? I don't know.
Ah.
Maybe it just happens.
Ah.
Okay, guys, you don't have to know how to do it. It's okay.
This is the mystery of the spiritual path, of
Uh,
spiritual rebirth, right?
yeah.
Basically, all we have to do is keep our hands and legs or our little caterpillar legs inside the cocoon
Mm,
and allow a higher power to do its work on us.
right.
Basically, the whole path, all of the work is to not resist the work that is being done in us.
Mm,
And so all of those things that you mentioned, the inner work, the intention, the meditation, the stillness, all of those things, all they're doing is pulling our legs inside the cocoon
mm,
and letting what is what we are meant to become happen.
yeah. Well, maybe
So,
that's the
yeah,
hard part is like,
yeah.
okay, the structure I was talking about, like I had the control. I knew what to do and I that
Mm,
felt more safe than trusting, okay, I'm keeping my hands and feet inside this vehicle at all times and
yeah,
like just hoping, that I make it out the other side, make it out of this cocoon. And maybe that's part of what feels hard is okay, actually no, there's not a way when for so long there was a way and it's more open now.
yeah.
Mm,
The way we talked about this, in our episode about interwoven paths, the religious path, the spiritual path, and the no, those aren't the words. We talked about it in our episode about the religious journey, the
mm,
spiritual journey, and the faith journey.
yeah.
And the intimidating thing about the spiritual journey is that we're not relying on external authorities. We're not relying on a predetermined set of what to do next, which feels so comforting and secure, right?
Yes.
But we are transitioning to learning to just stay present and let something beyond our mind guide
Mm,
us to what's next. Again, Jesus, when he would say repent, it's metanoia, meta, beyond, noia, mind. It's like this path s isn't laid out before us. We don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know what it's gonna look like in a year from now. Maybe
yeah.
not even a month from now, right? Like, maybe not even a week. I don't know, like tomorrow I've got some question marks, right? But that's how we know we're on the path is if it feels like we don't know.
Mm. Yeah.
It's so paradoxical, right?
Yeah. Yes. Feels very
And
contradicting.
yeah, that religious path and those, communal experiences and those, touches with the divine that we get when we're still on that, introductory path, um, that can still continue. I don't mean to say introductory because you have to leave it. It's about holding both, right? But
Mm.
those experiences give us confidence to lean into trust in the higher power, trust in the divine, that it knows what it's making us, even though we don't know
Yeah.
what we're becoming. And the same intelligence that helps a caterpillar become a butterfly is working on you, Savannah,
Mm.
and it's creating you dynamically. And so, yep, we're keeping our hands and our legs inside the vehicle at all times. And sometimes we let it out because maybe this vehicle isn't going where we want, so we wanna, like, stick our arm out and, like,
Come on this
redirect
way.
it. Yeah, over here.
Uh,
But then we remember, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm not driving this.
mm.
There's something greater than me driving this." And so we pull it back in, and we trust.
Hmm. So fun.
It feels so exciting and so vulnerable, and,
Mm.
sometimes way more vulnerable than exciting,
Yeah.
and, it's a beautiful ride. But we were talking with one of our producers, Stan, just before we started this about salmon in Alaska, and he says that this time of year, there's like a 500,000 salmon going up the river to return to their place of birth. And
Mm.
Savannah and I, our minds were just blown. We were just sitting here dumbfounded that these little salmon that are born in rivers in Alaska will go out, live for 5 years in the ocean, and then all of a sudden, after 5 years, something will go off in their head, and they will somehow find the place of their birth up a river in a specific place, as opposed to all of the rivers and branches of rivers, and they'll find where they were born, and that's where they'll die. And I remember watching Finding Nemo, like, fish only have 7-second memories, don't they? Like, how what is going on here? Or at
Aren't they
least
all
Dory.
Dory?
Yeah. And, but how does this fish have that type of intelligence after 5 years swimming thousands of miles to find its place of birth? There's just something beyond what we
Mm.
can wrap our heads around, and that same intelligence is working through us, helping us become and navigate something that we couldn't map out.
Yeah. It's interesting, like, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know how to say this, but for so long, it was this external thing having an external influence on me, but that there is maybe something like these salmon, something innate, something within each of us. Same with the caterpillars, right? Like there's not some scientist coming to the cocoon and
Yeah.
peeling it apart and putting on these wings. Like it happens from within the cocoon, right?
Yep.
And just trusting that God, the divine, whoever, whatever, self, right? Like there is something within each of us that even though we don't feel like we know, but maybe something actually knows, right? Maybe there is this something like these salmon, something that actually, maybe we're all just in the 5 years swimming around
Yep.
in the ocean. And then through each year, maybe there's a part of us that grows and develops each year that eventually leads us to this place where, you know, we a greater place, a place of love, a place of connection, like you were talking about, but that's actually already maybe within us,
Mhm.
which is kind of a cool feeling. Like, oh, that's in me.
Yeah.
I have that capacity or that ability to transform. It doesn't just have to come from someone else. doing it to me. While there are influences, right? And this, I think, divinity that does exist that is involved, but I
Mm,
don't know that it's in each of us, and that feels comforting to some degree.
yeah. Yeah, and I think we've probably all had experiences when we could feel it inside us.
Mm,
These touches with harmony, these experiences when everything just seems like it's right.
yeah.
Um, and where it's not hard to trust in a higher power because we feel like we're enveloped in it. And we might have it's kind of a mountaintop experience where you have a brief glimpse of, oh my goodness, something's been working with me all this. There's purpose in all of this. Everything's okay. And then we go back down into the valley and forget and lose that vision. And we're, we feel like we're not moving in any direction forward.
Mm,
But mercifully, in the great wisdom, in divine wisdom, we're given glimpses, we're given moments, we're given experiences, we're given touches with harmony. We're given states of harmony until eventually we can grow into a stage of harmony.
mm,
And which is why we practice. We practice resting in stillness and trusting that there's something beyond us that sees from a higher perspective and that has implanted in us everything that we need and is already in us, maybe not even implanted, it's part of us
mm,
that is leading us where we need to go and leading us up the river. And maybe it's not just one journey of going into cocoon and emerging as a butterfly, but it's multiple cocoons through our lives where we will go through transformation after transformation as long as we have the confidence to pull our legs in our hands inside enough to let the cocoon do its work.
mm.
Can we rest in that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the challenge, to rest in that. Let's wrap up this episode with a little practice of resting in the confidence of the cocoon. Sound okay, Savannah?
Sounds great.
Okay. All right, so we'll invite everybody that's been listening. Thanks for being with us for this today. And let's just do a brief practice. We won't take too long here, but maybe to give ourselves the chance to touch that sense of confidence, that sense of trust that there's something in us, that we're being guided, that there's divine in us that we can rest in. And we're going to use one of our past experiences with harmony in this practice. So if you have the chance to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. We'll just settle into this moment. Let's settle into your body. Allow yourself to feel your seat where you're sitting. Or if you're moving right now, if you're walking or driving, just feel physical sensations in your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the air touching your skin. Feel air coming into your lungs and leaving. And just relax fully into this moment, being alive, being mortal, being on a journey. And now I'll ask you to call up a moment of harmony from your past. Think of a time when you felt that everything was going to be okay, or that everything was okay. Everything was already okay. Maybe a moment when you felt completely loved, when you felt deep peace. Maybe it was an experience in nature. Maybe it was an experience in a religious setting, in a sacred setting. Maybe it was an experience of connection with family or friends or loved ones when just everything seemed to be in the hands of something higher, and that the beauty and the peace and the love that came through the experience was transcendent, was more than something that you could have created on your own. And see if you can imagine that moment, that situation, with enough detail that you start to taste that harmony again. Notice if those feelings start to arise, where they're arising in your body. Welcome them, make space for them, breathe into them. And while you're accessing this, let's not go too quickly to giving it meaning, to putting words to it, but rest in the experience of harmony as much as you can. Allow yourself to be lost in the confidence, the peace, the love, the flow that arises. Your mind might resist and have thoughts, no, I can't go back there to that place. Or trying to keep your hands or legs outside this experience right now. See if you can pull back in and just trust and release into the memory, the experience of harmony. And now see if you can give yourself fully enough to it that you ask that higher power, that transcendence that is flowing into you in the moment, in the experience. What do you want me to know from this? What should I remember? What can I learn from this mountaintop that I should take with me back into the valley? And if a response comes, allow yourself to sink into that response. Feel the confidence that flows from that higher power, that assurance that everything's okay. Allow yourself to be wrapped up in that as if you're wrapped up in a cocoon and just be held by it. And notice that if you're able to access these feelings of harmony, of love, of peace, that this is where you're headed in your journey right now. The deconstruction, the dissonance, the difficulty, it's all a divine flow that's leading you to become this love, peace, confidence, assurance. And in the divine wisdom, the difficulty, the fear, the doubts that arise are all part of the becoming. And see if you can just allow yourself to welcome it all. And if you'd like to sit with this a little longer, feel free to pause. But as we wrap up, just hold on, if you can, to that sense of confidence, that faith, that trust, that there is purpose, there is direction, there is hope, even in deconstruction, and that it's all leading toward what's been implanted you from the very beginning: divine identity, divine destiny. You are on a journey of becoming. And though sometimes this cocoon might feel like death, it has the promise of life that's more beautiful than you can imagine. As Paul says it, eye hath not seen, neither hath ear heard, nor has entered into the mind of man the things that God has prepared for them. And we'll wrap up this practice. Bring with you the confidence as we wrap up that there is hope, there is peace, there is love. Maybe not currently, but in the future, as you trust this path. And we'll wrap up our episode there for today. Anything to add, Savannah?
No, it was great. I think just echoing that, take the confidence that may be, or the feelings or whatever that practice brought for you. I noticed myself even fighting it. And then you said, hang on to the confidence, hang on to the, and I was like, whoa. But also like every part that's coming up, the doubt, the, kind of pushback is all part of this and leading me to this transformation. So just accept what it is. It'll be okay.
It will. Thanks, Savannah. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. And we hope to see you next time on the Call to Harmony.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you will join us next time on the Call to Harmony.